Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Threesome FPL podcast. I'm Phil. I'm sat shivering in a car outside my workplace. How are you, Mike?
Well, I'm in a house, and that is all I'm clinging to at the moment.
How are you, Ant?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm also in a house and probably warmer than you are.
Oh, aren't we all lucky living in houses?
Do you not have a coat you could pop on?
No. I've got a pair of shorts and some running shoes.
That's probably not going to help a great deal.
No, that's not going to help. No,
it's not ideal, really. But it's okay because I've got my headband, so it's all fine. How was everyone's weeks then? It's been a funny old week. A lot of captaincy blanks I've seen. Anthony, how'd you get on?
Well, I mean, I have to say a big thank you before we go any further to FPL Scooby Doo, who picked my Gundogan captain. Oh, yes! And what a lovely pick it was. A bit like Mike the previous week, who'd had John Stones. Yeah, he got a couple of goals, so he got 28 points on his own, which was lovely stuff.
Unbelievable.
So I ended up with 62 points in total, which is pretty amazing considering I had 4 players who got 1 point. And really, other than that, I had Barnes of Leicester who got an assist. So ended up with 6, and Sterling got 11, and John Stones who got 6. Other than that, it was wasn't exactly great. And Fernandes again for Manchester United. That's 4 games now, isn't it? Without a goal and an assist, and he's looking like somebody who might be getting to the point where he's too expensive to carry for much longer, to be honest with you. Only frustration from my side was I had Firmino on the bench, who I've started for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And then, of course, I put him on the bench last night, and he cropped up with that tap-in, didn't he, for Liverpool? So, but 62 points, boys. I don't mean to brag, but I think that was higher than both of you.
Well, definitely was higher than me. I mean, Firmino that's a lot of money on the bench, isn't it? Having Firmino and then benching him.
Well, yeah, but the trouble is I didn't know who to take out. You know, he's not been firing. Liverpool haven't actually scored a goal this calendar year before last night, and that was kind of my thinking behind it. And it's one of those ones that everybody else in my starting 11 had a more winnable game, shall we say, than Spurs away, and that was kind of my thinking behind it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I've got. I would entitle my game week "Pride Comes Before a Fool." Very much before this fool. In that I had a great start to the game week. I had Souček, I had Cancelo. Bought Cancelo, and I've been waiting on Cancelo the whole season. His statistics have looked incredible, so I thought, I've got to bring him in. And he finally scores. I mean, a controversial goal. Is it fair to say? I mean, West Brom
massively so.
I mean, they literally were like, "Yeah, all right, cheers, we stopped."
That was ridiculous, but yeah.
And then so those two did me great, and then it came to Wednesday night. And I didn't captain Fernandes, so I loved it when he. I had Fernandes, so it's that awkward thing when you've got him in your team, but you actually don't want him to do well. And then, close up of me. That's what everyone needs right now. Gosh.
No, all right, fine. I was just trying to mix it up, you know.
No, it's fine. People have got enough misery in their life with lockdown, let alone seeing me play. So when he blanked, I was over the moon, despite owning him. Because I had Kane as captain coming up, and I was quite hopeful. And then that game last night, I mean, I felt like a boxer who had no hands playing against a boxer who's got very big hands. So immediately it starts. I've got Kane, so he gets an assist straight away. Brilliant. What a start. Nope. Ruled that out. Then Kane looks like he's hobbling. He's definitely hobbling. He's hurt his ankle. We'll carry on. He seems to be fine now. Then what else happened that absolutely did me over? Oh yeah, then he goes off injured. So 1 point for my captain. Then Spurs score, which cleans out my Robertson clean sheet. Then Salah scores. Thank goodness, some points at last. You know, fair play to me for being patient and holding on. Nope, rule that one out as well. For being wrestled. I mean, Firmino's being wrestled by Dyer, but you know, not that I'm bitter. And then so my last night went from potentially a huge score to absolutely nothing.
Life is a roller coaster, just gotta ride it all night long.
Oh my God, it's like Ronan is actually in the room with us, people.
It's like Ronan's in the room, but he's having a stroke. Poor Ronan. So I also had 4 players who got 1 point. I had Kane, who was my captain, like I said. I had Bamford. I had McCarthy, and I still had Foden, who is driving me nuts because I don't want him. But I did have Watkins, who again I didn't want, but at least he did well. Yeah, so I have Watkins, I had Souček, and I had Cancelo, who did well. And I don't think I'll be shifting any of those out because Kane's injury means more transfers potentially. And I mean, I've got as much money in the world as I could ever want, but I don't want expensive players at the moment because they're either injured or not playing well.
So in terms of your net score then, because you made some changes last week as well.
Oh yeah, I also made 3 changes last week.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 injuries. So
I'm not criticising you. You make as many changes as you want.
I mean, I think as long as you make the decisions and you think, well, I wasn't to know that Kane was going to get injured. I actually think he would have done well had he not got the injury and maybe should have had an assist. You can't do anything about that. That just happens. But injuries are wreaking havoc. I'm having to transfer so many players out all the time. So that was a -12. So net 39.
Okay.
All right, Anthony. We don't need to be pursy with our lips.
Not the best. Michael?
Yeah, all the highs and lows. So after 143 it was the previous week. Well, I'll show you.
I'm catching you up.
I am catching you up.
Not this week, you're not, Sunshine.
No, I'm not. So if we have a quick look there, you can see on the 1s and 2s. I was a bit like I was checking my microphone at the stadium. 1, 2, 1, 2. Areola did very nicely. I brought him in, so that was a plus. 10 points for him. But then across the back, Matty Loughton came off the bench. Matty Loughton was due to be playing. He played Villa, didn't he? In another crazy game. Point for him. Point for James Justin. Stones again continued to serve me well with 6. Then into the midfield, some real disappointments. I mean, Harrison scored. I got very excited when he scored during the week just because he's a differential for me and not many people have got him. But thereafter, it was pretty shoddy. 4 Fernandes captained. So actually only 2 in reality. 1 for Foden, 2 for Pogba, 1 for Jesus, who yet again, I've gone all out on him. He's played about 5 minutes and done nothing. Kane, we've discussed. Antonio, good old Antonio. But yeah, all in all, a very disappointing week, which led to me midway through the game week. I made 7 changes.
Didn't you say your
6? I made 6, and then Kane got injured, so now 7 changes.
But wasn't your New Year's resolution to make less transfers?
Yeah, listen, when a drunk has a tough day, he drinks.
Not so uncomfortable with that analogy.
No,
but it's accurate. That's what happens. I'm an addict.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'll level with you. After last week, I mean, my run of recent form is bad. Over my last 3 weeks, and bear in mind that one of these was a double game week, my captains have got me a total of 8 points. So if you bear in mind that you get 2 points for playing. So yeah, Sterling -2 and Kane 2. Cancel each other out, and then De Bruyne got me 8 in 2 games.
That is a right turnaround because earlier on in the season your captain picks were bang on.
Yeah, so I started the season with 40 points for my captain, and just to put it in perspective. So yeah, I was actually genuinely thinking, because you do tend to, even though the game is not real life and I have no control over how people play, you do seem to get into streaks, don't you? Streaks of good form, and I'm currently in a bit of bad form, and I was worried, Mike might well catch me up, and then I'll never ever live to
be intolerable.
You're absolutely right, and it's still on. I'm only 80 points behind you, I think. So
you just spent 24 points.
Oh, spent or invested?
Well,
depends just when you look at it.
As soon as the game week starts tomorrow,
yeah,
I will be 24 points higher than I was today.
But, oh, what a team I've assembled!
Okay.
What a
Well, I
team.
mean, do you want to quickly, talk us through your team? I mean, we've obviously got to look at. I mean, a lot of people are going to have a lot of money. Some people might be tempted to wildcard due to injuries and so on. So what have you done? Because you don't have a wild card, but you pretty much play a wild card every week anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Bear with me a second. I'll bring up the
Mike's team. I think we've had a brief look at this, haven't we, Phil? And I have to say, it might have cost him 7 transfers, but it's a very tidy looking team on paper.
Yeah, I like the look of it. Here we go. Let's show you it now. Okay, so Areola away at West Brom. So again, I fancy him to do all right, because even if they're not conceding goals, Fulham do concede a lot of shots, and so you get points for the saves and such like. Across the back, I've gone for Reece James of Chelsea, partly because they're at home to Burnley, partly because I talked him up last week. However, I was disappointed to see that he didn't get the start midweek, and Tuchel in his first game in charge went for Azpilicueta at right back. So we'll see what happens there. But if he doesn't play, in terms of bench, I've got Mitchell at home to Wolves, or I've got Justin at home to Leeds. So I'm quite happy in terms of depth. Controversial, I brought Trent in because
don't start me on Trent, who I've had for weeks and dropped last week.
Yeah,
always the way, mate.
Well, I've avoided Liverpool assets completely for the last few weeks, but I just saw a little bit of a glint in the boy's eye last night, and I wonder if perhaps this could just be the time where his season turns. So I brought him in just because I've got the money to do so at the moment, and I keep Stones in. Across the midfield, I've made 3 changes. So I've brought in Sterling, I've brought in Zaha, I've brought in Grealish, complementing Fernandes and Maddison. I think that's a pretty tasty midfield, because I could go for the likes of Salah, but what I'm finding with the likes of Salah is and Son is that bonus points are being shared round, whereas Grealish and Zaha, they tend to be, like we've talked about them being kind of talisman for their teams, and they tend to get the bonus points. So I've bought those guys in midfield, and then up front, the dilemma as to what we do here. I bought Calvert-Lewin in for Vardy, but actually, since Kane dropped out now, I see a lot of people are opting for Calvert-Lewin. He seems a sensible option and good value. Antonio, I just wonder if anyone's going to score against Liverpool, then it'll be Antonio. That'll be the first time this season I've had a striker going up against a defender. Be the first season. So Antonio up against Alexander-Arnold will be the first time. If I go with that, I'm in 2 minds as to whether I swap him out for Watkins away at Southampton. But the thing with Trent is there's still an opportunity for him to get assists.
Yeah. The thing with Antonio, if you look at him, his game against Crystal Palace was like he was cursed. I mean, he could have had 4 goals easily. He had 2 that hit the post, and he had another 2 that he probably should have done better with. He could have quite easily walked away with a hat-trick, bare minimum. So, but he's somebody, he's done well for you, Mike, isn't he? You brought him in last week in the double game week. Would he get 18 points?
18 points,
yeah. So he's a tidy. And DCL is someone I'm certainly probably going to bring in, and I think a lot of people will, with having Newcastle at home. Newcastle are in disarray at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
They look really poor. I think Bruce is probably hanging on by the skin of his teeth, isn't he?
Yeah. I thought he'd be gone.
With DCL, he's got Leeds after Newcastle, hasn't he? And Leeds conceded 22 shots against Newcastle, who don't ever attack. So
that's quite an interesting one. But that's and Grealish. I mean, did we see that his near goal of the season? If he scored that run from the halfway line was just unbelievable. Because I saw you tweet about it, Phil, on the night. I didn't actually see it live. I had to see it on Match of the Day, but I could not believe he was able to run from there, beat 4 Burnley players, and but for a good save from Pope. I mean, he's just class, isn't he? He's somebody that will be one of those enigma players for England, I think. Jack Grealish will always be someone who will look good for Aston Villa, but probably would be one once he puts on the England shirt. It doesn't quite happen for him. But
that's just he won't get the amount of games that he was due,
But he's him and just Villa. And I've been very impressed with Villa this season. They've been a surprise package for me. They've been brilliant.
I'll be really interested to see what happens with England if the tournament goes ahead in the summer. I mean, we've got such a random assortment of players at the moment for England.
Yeah.
You used to be able to pick the team couldn't you, for England? But now you've got probably 30 players there you could pick from. Not necessarily that they're better players, but because no one's cemented in apart from sort of Kane, really. And I mean, and like I say, he is fragile. I mean, Mike, you've gone Antonio up front because obviously the striker positions are an issue with Kane and Vardy out. They're the two sort of big hitters. Bamford's, not in form. Antonio's got the fragility of a Pringle, and you kind of worry that that's the only thing that's keeping me from putting him in, because I don't want to then have to take him out again when he, I don't know, runs a bit fast and snaps something.
Well, I've got options on my bench, so were he to get injured, it wouldn't be a disaster. If you look at that squad I've just shown you, across the bench you've got all players that you would expect to be playing. So I wouldn't be that upset if he got injured. I could cope with that because I have the depth to cover it. I fancy him to bully the Liverpool defence tomorrow, to be honest. Yeah, like I say, if anyone's going to score, it will be him.
Will it? Because my other option, I mean, I've got Souček.
Yeah.
Who is, and we don't
absolutely flying.
We don't do statistics, so I won't get too in depth. But I can tell you he's 192 centimeters tall, which is, just shy of a door frame tall. And Liverpool don't have a very big team, so if West Ham get some set pieces in on him.
Well, Matip's injured again,
of course.
Fabinho's injured.
Yeah.
So they are going to be susceptible at the back. Like I say, I've primarily put Trent in because I think he'll be on set pieces, and I anticipate he might get me some assists. But I'm almost certain they will concede. The more I talk about this, the more I'm excited by Antonio.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Should we get on to how our punts did then, gents?
Oh, can we not?
I mean, you boys should love it because you've had no control over your team the past 2 weeks when it comes to captain picks, and it has hauled you, between the two of you, near on 90 points.
I would just say at this point that we've all actually done pretty well this season out of our listeners and our followers on Twitter, because you, my friend, also had the hat-trick with DCO earlier on in the season.
Correct. I need to lose this game and give my team over to someone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got lucky because I would have had Fernandes as captain like Mike did. So thank you to Mr. Scooby Doo.
The frustration is the last time I lost, and I should explain to new viewers that we do a game each week, and that determines which of us gets our captain picked by someone on Twitter. But the last time that happened to me, it was a vicar who won, and he shafted me by captaining Carl Walker-Peters. I mean, you boys, Mike's just got John Stones scoring his only 2 goals ever for City, and you've just got 2 goals from Gundogan. So someone better help me out if I lose this game. But we'll do it. We'll play every second mounts. We better play it now.
Well,
all right, let's play it.
Well, hang on a minute. We haven't gone over who we had.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Suffice to say, I had Greenwood. He did nothing.
I had Jesus. He did nothing.
I had Ademola Lookman, who did nothing.
Excellent.
Okay. So, all right. The way it works is we have a list of answers corresponding to a particular category, and I'm going to ask Ant how many of those answers he thinks he'd better come up with without getting a wrong answer. He will inevitably say 6 because that's what he does.
No.
And Phil will then choose whether he wants to kind of force his hand to play that or not. So let's have a look. First round, then I'll go, boys, if that's okay.
Of course.
I am looking at Leicester City defenders. There are 11 of them in the game. But how many of the 11 can you name? And I will go to you first.
4.
Oh, 4 Leicester City defenders. Phil, you can go higher, and then Ant can decide if he wants to.
Yeah, I'll go 5. I'll go 5.
5. Ant, do you want to go 6, or do you want to let Phil play the 5? Leicester City defenders.
I'll say my favourite number 6.
Okay, Phil, of the 11,
No,
do you want to go higher than 6?
This game is not structured well for someone with short-term memory issues. So, Anthony, it's all yours.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I feel like this is a walk in the park. Go on then, Ant.
James Justin.
James Justin is there. That's 1.
Johnny Evans.
Is 2.
That's who I was thinking of.
I know he doesn't really play anymore, but Morgan.
Is 3. Yeah.
Now there's one I can't think of if he's a defender or midfielder.
Oh.
Oh, the one who looks like the guy from Shrek.
I'm afraid I'm going to need an actual name.
Oh God, what's his name? Fofana.
Fofana is for 4. Yep.
Fofana
is for 4.
Oh God, what's he called? Oh, the pressure.
He looks like the bad prince from the
the guy off Shrek. Oh my God, my mind's gone blank.
Oh yeah.
Oh bloody hell!
Have a whole Shrek cast made out of.
Oh man, my mind's gone blank. Oh my goodness, this is terrible.
Hey.
What's the time looking like?
So many options.
I know, but you know the pressure with Phil waving his watch at me. Oh,
I'll give you another 10 seconds.
Another 10. Generous.
Oh, what's he called? Oh, blimey, what's that left back called?
I mean, come on now, come on, timer.
Time's up. I'm
going to absolutely kick myself with this one.
Here were your options then. Ones that you missed: Castagna. Christian Fuchs.
Oh, that's the one.
Soyuncu.
Yeah,
Soyuncu's the one.
Amati.
Yeah.
Thomas and Pereira. Oh dear.
Schoolboy error there, my friend. I suck at this game. Well done, Phil.
Okay, so 1-0 to Phil.
It's almost like you're throwing it, knowing that listeners are better at your captaincy picks than I would be.
Craig's offering to one of somebody viewing online is offering to give us a shout. We need
well done, Phil. That's 1-0 to you.
Okay, Phil, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Yeah, go on then.
Because I'll go, and then if Ant loses, then Ant doesn't even need to do his.
No.
So
won't that be a relief?
Exactly. With a huge amount of money floating around, I thought it'd be good to look at midfielders who have scored 5 or more goals. There are 19 midfielders
who have scored
5 or more goals. Now, yeah, like I say, a lot of people have got a lot of money to spend at the moment. So I thought it'd be handy to look at this. I think we can be tricked by big names and realise actually they haven't done much this season. So how many can you go for then, Anthony?
5.
Yeah, for 5 out of 19, okay.
6.
Mike?
6.
7.
I'll let you play your 7.
Oh, damn it! I thought he was going to go 8.
Seen him fall apart once.
Oh no!
Yeah, okay. But Ant, this is quite an easy one.
I know there's 19 of them, isn't there? But yeah. I'm still going to struggle here, I reckon.
5 or more goals. Go for it. Midfielders.
Okay. Fernandez.
Yes.
Salah.
Yes.
Gundogan.
Yes.
De Bruyne.
You're an idiot!
Oh no!
What? De Bruyne hasn't scored 5.
Oh,
dear,
you're so bad at this game. I swear you're throwing it.
Mane.
Hang on a minute.
Son.
Would you have expected De Bruyne to be there? He must have scored 5. He must have done. That's ridiculous. He's not scored 5 goals.
No.
You want to make? I'm going to clip that where Phil leans into the camera and just shouts, "You're an idiot." You want to make that your message tone?
Sorry about that. Everyone. So, you could have had Salah, Son, Fernandez, Zaha, Mane, Gundogan, Rashford, Souček, Grealish, Maddison, Barnes, Sterling.
Oh no, you said Maddison.
Aubameyang, Saka, El Ghazi, Tielemans, Chiota, Mahrez, and Bowen.
Oh. And De Bruyne is not on that list. That's ridiculous.
No.
How many has he scored? Do you know?
I have no idea, but he's not on the list I printed out.
Ridiculous.
I'm afraid I don't have a computer in my car.
Just for some kind of pride, because I'd like to know how I get on. Can we play you around anyway?
Yeah, go on then.
Sure, boys. Here we go. Let me just bring up. Well, so I've gone for minutes played this season. So there are 12 players who have played the maximum amount of minutes so far this season, which is 1,800. So who has played every minute of every game so far? There is 12, boys. How many can you name? Phil, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll start high with 1. I have no idea. I mean,
think about ever presence.
I'll go 3. I'll go 3.
I'll be tempted to go 0.
No, I'll go 3.
I mean, I can think of one obvious, sort of train of thought, but
there is some quite obvious ones on here.
Yeah, of course there is. Now you're looking at it. So you're
Just like the
going
midfielders.
3, are you?
Yeah.
Come on, Phil, do it. I mean, there's only pride to play for. You've got nothing to lose if you can't name 4.
Yeah, go. I'll go 4.
Go on then.
Go on,
Unless
then.
Mike wants to go 5.
No. You play. You play.
Okay. Rui Patricio.
Correct.
Okay, I am sticking very firmly to goalkeepers.
That's probably quite wise.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Correct. 2 more to go.
2 more to go. I've got to look at what teams there are. Ramsdale.
Correct. 1 more to go.
So are you saying that they started every game for their team? Because some teams have
They played
as many
every
games.
minute. They've played every minute of every game.
Okay. McCarthy.
Oh, you're such an idiot! You're such an idiot!
Oh dear.
No, McCarthy.
Really?
You were going along the right lines with goalkeepers, but McCarthy is not on there. So the 12 are Leno, Guaita, Schmeichel, James Justin, Robertson, Harry Maguire, Carl Darlow,
Oh yeah,
Aaron
I can't pronounce his
Ramsdale.
name.
And then we've got 3 West Ham: Cresswell, Rice, and Souček. And then Patricio. They've all played 1,800 minutes, which is the maximum.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Well done,
All
Mike.
right. So we're going to throw.
Southampton got a game in hand. Maybe that's why McCarthy. Because has McCarthy missed a game?
I think.
Well,
he
he's-
has. I think.
he was injured.
COVID. Of course he did.
Idiot! He was injured. Of course, you idiot. How do you not know that? So, yeah, congratulations. So we had quite a few people on Twitter who had a good pick, actually. They had Rafinha of Leeds, who scored and got some bonus points. But the one picked at random was Michael Ward, who is at FPL Fudge 1990. Well done, Michael. You get to pick my captain this week.
Excellent.
Let's
Congratulations.
really try and shaft him. Let's not be nice anymore.
Yeah, he's winning and winning quite comfortably. So
Not really. I'm only about 30 points ahead of Phil.
Yeah, but I've got transfers to make.
Yeah, I might.
Are you making any transfers this week?
I've got Kane, so I'm going to take him out. I think DCL will be the player I'll bring in because, like I say, well, let's go on and discuss this. Who are the options then? We've all got Kane, as have many people. Who are the options we should be looking at to replace him with?
Well, it depends what position you're in. If you're doing well at the moment, which none of us are particularly, if you're doing well, then the safe bet is DCL, isn't it? Because he's the one that most people will go on. If you've got to play catch up, I would suggest maybe take a punt on someone like Ings, could hit form. Maybe
Firmino, I've had him. He does go in peaks and troughs, but he's just scored last night.
Who started up front for Chelsea the other day? Because it wasn't Werner.
Giroud. It was Giroud.
It was Giroud, yeah.
See,
I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll play Giroud twice in a week.
Okay. Lacazette.
Lacazette is the second most informed striker in the game. But he's the most informed fit striker.
Good stat.
Yeah. I mean, if you're selling Kane, you can pretty much afford anyone. So yeah, it's really tricky, isn't it? What to do with up front? I would prefer to be able to play a 5-5 none at the moment.
Could this finally be Jesus' week with Sheffield United at home?
Well, he's got to get a game. He's got to get a game to be able to get the points. He was brought on with barely any time left the other night.
This is true.
If you look at players that are playing week in, week out for the team, you've got a lot of the lower value players. So people like Mopay, like Watkins, like Chris Wood. Again, they're in the top 10 in terms of form at the moment. All 3 of those. Danny Ings. Danny Ings, I think, is an option. Everyone's now going to jump on board Antonio, and I just want it stated here that I bought him in 2 weeks ago, long before it was the vogue thing to do. Callum Robinson. What are their games like for West Brom? I know that he's not prolific, is he, by any means? But I feel like they've got Fulham and Sheffield United next too. So
Allardyce will target those games, won't he?
Yeah. So maybe he gets a few points for you. But yeah, those I guess those are if you're looking for somebody completely left field, well, I suppose he's pretty left field, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, there were 19 midfielders who have scored 5 or more goals this season. There's only 13 strikers who have.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And yeah, some of those are unavailable at the moment. So
yeah, I wouldn't rule out someone like Richarlison.
Yeah.
Again, home to Newcastle. We talked about people bringing in Calvert-Lewin. No, he's a striker.
Is he?
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of formation as well, boys, are you going to try and sneak out 3 strikers from this week? I know, obviously, you're not, Mike, but Phil, were you?
No.
Yeah, the problem I've got is that I've got Watkins, Bamford, and Kane at the moment. Bamford's out of form. Watkins I don't rate that much, although thanks for the points this week. And obviously Kane is injured. So I could, depending on how serious Kane's injury is, which I actually think might be maybe a month out. It did look like both his ankles got injured. So, if he's 3 to 4 weeks out, I don't want to carry him. If he was a week out, I would just carry him because I don't plan on playing strikers anyway. Really, I might play a 4-5-1, something like that, with Watkins or Bamford. I'll just make the choice.
All you need is about a COVID, and suddenly you're up shit creek again. That's the problem. We've been very lucky the last. Sorry.
Family show.
Sorry. I do apologise. If you look at the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, we've not really been impacted by COVID. Which was causing all kinds of chaos a few weeks ago. So I'm kind of wary of that, and I'm very keen on having a strong bench just in case.
Well, just on Kane then, the injury I don't think is a bad one. We're only talking a few weeks. Is it worth holding fire and keeping him on the bench, or is that just wasted money?
It's a huge amount of money.
It's a huge amount of money, but at the moment, people may well still have. I've got 4 million in my bank or something because of the KDB sale. So if I want to upgrade a midfielder, then I've got the money to do it anyway. And I won't be the only one in that position. So the potential to hold Kane for 1 week just to hear more news on his injury is tempting. Okay. Yeah, Craig's saying go for Watkins. Yeah, I think out of the 3 I've got, I will stick with Watkins. Villa look dangerous. Midfield-wise, obviously, like we say, money is no object to a lot of people at the moment in fantasy football, and a lot of the midfielders that are doing well are not expensive. So who would be your 5 midfielders you could pick at the moment?
Well, I've picked mine. I've shown you mine already, because I've made 7 changes. So I'm purposely staying away from Salah because too many people have got him, and I have some serious catching up to do. I've shown my card already. I've picked my 5, and I genuinely think they're the best 5 in the game for me right now.
Certainly, almost in form as well. Maybe apart from Fernandes, Mike, you've got all the inform ones in there as well.
Well, the top 5 form midfielders are Gundogan, Saka, Tielemans, Souček, and Maddison.
Oh, I've only got one.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, maybe not then.
Yeah.
But form is only temporary. Class is permanent.
I've got unlimited funds. If I wanted to fritter away transfer money, take hits, I'd have Souček, Salah, Fernandes, who I've already got, because Salah and Fernandes, there's no point transferring them out just to get them back in again when they do hit form. And then I probably want Harvey Barnes because I want some Leicester coverage. I don't have any at the moment. And then it'd be a real toss-up between Grealish and Zaha. Zaha's got better fixtures, but Grealish has been incredible. And Villa have got loads of games to catch up on.
Yeah.
And if I was going left field, not left field, but James Rodriguez for Everton. Everton also look like they'll have a double game week at some point soon. And if I don't get DCL in up front, then I want an Everton player.
I mean, James, did you see his goal the other night? Absolute beauty, wasn't it? He's come back in after yet another injury, and he's back in form. He would probably be in my 5, I think, fully fit. Along with Fernandes, Salah, and I'd probably actually have Raheem Sterling in there, which is a bit of a controversial one. But he looked back to his best. I know, all due respect to West Brom, who are leaking goals like there's no tomorrow at home this season, aren't they? Yeah. But yeah, he looked really good, and I think James Maddison again. He's back to his best at the moment. As you said, he's one of the form players. Someone who's actually scored more than 5 goals from midfield this season, which I know now. So he'd be in that 5 for me as well.
What do I do with Phil Foden, who I don't like? and B, I own, but C, fear that as soon as I take him out, he's going to do something.
I've just taken him out because you bought him in, and I'm having to try and pick players. It's no fun me picking players and cheering players on when I know that you've got them as well. I have to have those differentials. So you've brought him in. Congratulations. I've now shifted him out. Did
you see the City game? Because when Pep was making some substitutions, he was bringing on Laporte, and I was thinking, oh, here we go. Before 60 minutes, he's gonna stitch up everyone who's got John Stones, and this is perfect.
Yeah.
Off goes John Stones, please, or even Diaz, you know. And then he took him off for Foden. I was, what is actually happening here?
Foden's a weird one, isn't he? You wonder what it is with and why he doesn't get much game time. Because every game I've seen that he's started, and he's kind of running the show.
Yeah,
he looks absolute class. Whether it's a protection thing from Pep's point of view and his age, I don't know. But he's someone, he drives you mad from an FPL point of view. I don't think I'd have him in my team. You can't rely on him to start or even to play more than an hour.
I just don't want to have a player who I don't know if he's going to play. And that's the only reason I haven't brought in Gundogan, because I've kind of for a long time thought, well, surely he's going to get rotated. But with him coming off early, I'm more inclined to bring him in, and then at least I won't get battered, because so many people have bought him in now. But at least I won't get battered if I bring him in and he does nothing. You know, it's everyone else has got him.
He's probably not one they can drop at the moment, even for City. I mean, he's actually, just having a look, he's got less than 15% ownership still, which I'm surprised about, because if you look, he's only 5.7 million. I mean, and if I just read these numbers out to you from the last few game weeks, he's probably, he's a bargain at that price, isn't he? So he's got 14 points against West Brom, 10 against Villa, 8 against Palace, 9 against Chelsea, 11 against Newcastle, and 10 against West Brom. And that's just in the last few game weeks.
Imagine getting on that train early. Wow.
Yeah. So I've had him in, for the last 4 game weeks, and he's been absolutely flying. And at 5.7, absolute bargain bin.
So again, do I chase historical points, or do I try and get on someone else before everyone else is to try and make gains?
Yeah.
What would you do?
That's very much what I'm doing at this stage of the season. I'm having to. Out of interest, lads, if I just go through my team, can you tell me who you've got and who you haven't?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just save me the bother, later in the weekend.
Bring up my team to remind me.
Areola.
No.
Nope.
Reece James.
No.
Nope.
Tyrick Mitchell.
Nope.
James Justin.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay, Justin won. Alexander Arnold.
Nope.
No.
Don't mention that name. Yeah.
Who?
Stones.
Oh, no.
Grealish.
Nope.
Phil?
No. So I was shaking my head as theatrically.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Zaha?
Nope.
Excellent. Madison?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Sterling?
No.
Yep.
Oh, one for Sterling. Fernandez. We've all got Fernandez, right?
Yeah.
4.
Calvert-Lewin?
I will have.
I may have.
Oh, okay. DCL. Antonio?
Nope.
No.
And Watkins?
Yeah.
No.
All right. So actually, if I look at my team up against your two, there are very few players that we have in common. So there is a genuine chance that I could make some gains.
Spicy.
We have got 5 of the same starting 11 though, Mike, which is quite a lot.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've only got...
Ant is too far ahead of you, Mike. You will not catch him.
Well, if I keep losing every second match, which I do every week, and I get somebody who's not so nice on Twitter, then you guys have got a right old chance. I mean, this turns around very quickly. This turns around very quickly, boys. I mean, Phil, it's only 3 or 4 game weeks ago, you were about 50 points ahead of me, and now we've had about 100-point swing in the last few weeks. It changes very quickly.
Captaincy picks. That's what's been huge. I haven't had a captain. I haven't had a captain come in for probably 8-9 weeks now.
Who are you going captain this week?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, the vogue thing now, as started by FPL Beery when he helped you, Mike, is to pick a defender from City, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I would, if you're playing catch up, I want to be a bit different.
Well, the fact that neither of you got Sterling means I'll be captaining him.
Well,
no, I've got Sterling, and I was going to captain him.
Oh,
but of course, I don't have the power anymore, Mike. So
Oh,
who knows?
good. Yeah. Okay.
So who knows? Who knows on that one?
Oh, hold on. Let's have.
Oh, hang on.
I've got that. And where was that? Yeah. Oh,
Amazing.
hello.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Who was that?
We are live, people.
Hello.
Who was that, Phil?
Oh, now I can't hear you. What have you done?
Oh
Why not?
no, what's he done?
This is
no.
not good.
Oh,
Well, this
Can
is
you hear
very
us now?
awkward.
hear me now.
Yeah, can't hear anything. Are you talking?
Oh, I'm going to
Yes.
remove him, and he'll have to come back in.
Yeah, we had him. Oh, schoolboy error. Goodness
Oh
me.
no. Let's kick from studio. Say, oh no, they won't be allowed to join.
Okay, can you hear me now?
He's like, yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear you. What's happened?
Why can't you hear us?
This is a
What on earth's
shame. This is
going
a real
on?
shame for everyone involved.
Reboot.
Mainly me. I can't hear anyone.
Reboot.
But,
Oh, this is awkward.
you know, it is what it is. I'll rejoin.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about the fixtures, Mike, while Phil's looking at himself? So let's have a little.
Let's go through them.
We start at Goodison Park tomorrow, then 12:30. Everton v Newcastle. I think James is the one I'm going to pick out from this game to look at. Back in form, back in the team. Beautiful goal the other night. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I do like James a lot, and it's a player who I just haven't had room for in my midfield because of he'd be like my sixth pick, I guess. I really liked having him in the team earlier on in the season. He was a fun player to watch. But you're going to go Digne, or
DCL.
Rodriguez or DCL. They or maybe Richarlison as a little bit of a wild card. Yeah. You're looking at Everton, aren't you, rather than Newcastle for sure?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. Palace
Wolves. Yeah, Zaha obviously talisman for Palace. Outside of him, Benteke seems to be getting a bit more involved.
Yeah.
So again, if you're looking for a differential, he might be an option. Wolves are like super unpredictable.
Really, yeah.
You used to know what you're going to get with Wolves. You were going to get 0-0 at half time and a 1 or 2 win by full time, and Jimenez would score one of those goals. Now it's not so easy. I don't know. Would you consider anybody from Wolves at the moment?
Not really. No. I mean, I'm just looking at them. They're sat down in 13th place in the league, which is not where you'd expect them to be. And just looking at their last few results, they lost at home to Everton, lost at home to West Brom, drew with Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea looked the only likely team to win that game, really. And I think they've really missed Jimenez, haven't they? Since he had that terrible head injury.
I'll tell you who I've missed.
Not really recovered. Who?
Phil Botto. Let's see if we can bring it back in.
Here he is.
Can you hear us?
Oh, boy, sorry. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, my boss wanted to steal a pallet from the Polish company next door. He wanted some help, but I was in the middle of this. But
just to clarify, did shutting your car door cause your connection to break?
It apparently stopped my speaker from working, so I couldn't hear a word you were saying. And then I came back in, and you wouldn't let me in, and all I could hear was Mike saying Richarlison instead of Richarlison. It was driving me nuts.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, that's all right. Where did you get to? I'll carry on.
We've discussed Everton against Newcastle, and we were just finishing off talking about Palace and Wolves, and if there's any certainly any Wolves assets we might be looking at the moment, and we were kind of saying there isn't really.
No, Neto was on trend, but Wolves just seem a bit of a damp squid at the moment, don't they?
Oh, yeah, nothing team, aren't they?
Feels so last year. Man City, Sheffield United. We talked about Man City lots. Sheffield United appear to have hit a bit of form. Won 4 of the last 5 games, albeit 2 of them in the cup. Would you consider? I guess value isn't really important right now. If you haven't got KDB or Kane or Vardy in your side, then you've probably got money to burn. Unless maybe you've gone Mane, Salah, Son, kind of Bruno. Well, that's one hell of a midfield. I'm just kind of dreaming up there. But unless you're spending massively big in midfield, you've probably got money to spare, so you don't really need the value. But would you look at any Sheffield United assets?
Ollie Burke, 4.4 million, is he? Something like that.
It's good value, isn't it? But I
mean, as a 5th midfielder, probably you could have him in if you have got money issues. Some people won't have money to burn. So Ollie Burke potentially, although he came off the bench to get his goal the other day. Yeah. or there's old big Dave McGoldrick.
Did you see some of the chances he missed the other night? There, he went through clean 1-on-1. Yeah, Craig, thank you for that comment. Yeah, I still think that was. Don't get me wrong. Look, fair play to Sheffield United the other night going to Old Trafford and winning. I think it kind of sums up this season, though. That result, doesn't it? It's been a bonkers season, and I think not taking too much away from Sheffield United, that was as much that Manchester United were dreadful than Sheffield United were good. Yeah. And I still don't think at the moment I would be touching any Sheffield United assets. And this might come back to bios, but you can't see past a comfortable Man City victory here, can you?
Well, Man City, they go top. They've got a game in hand on I think everybody around them.
They're suddenly in a bit of form now. It doesn't feel that long ago. We were talking about how Cardalo had more points than any Man City asset, and all of a sudden, City are top and playing some brilliant football again.
It's a different season now. Do you remember the start of the season? It was get as many penalty takers in as you could.
Yeah.
That's one. Yeah. It was goals galore, so spend peanuts on your defence. But what happens almost every season in fantasy football, and obviously the Premier League, therefore, is that defences tighten up sort of halfway through the season, which is why you're seeing people captaining City defenders, people bringing in expensive defenders again, because they really do tighten up mid-season and there's a lot less goals going on. So, and Sheffield United defenders are not something I'm tempted by against Man City.
No.
I can't see anything but a City win on that.
Man City, I mentioned they go top. Do you know how many teams have been top of the league so far this season? It's a record.
Southampton have been. That's how crazy this season's been.
Is it 5, Mike?
Eight teams have been top of the table at one stage or another.
It's got to be a long time since that happened, isn't it?
It's the first time in the Premier League era.
Wow, that's insane. What a stat that is. Yeah, crazy. Big old game next, boys.
Oh, the glamour tie, West Brom Fulham.
I mean, just quickly on that, I believe I'm right in saying this is the first time ever we've had a live 3:00 Saturday game in the Premier League on terrestrial TV. It is live on the BBC, and what a game they've picked, the glamour game. But in all seriousness, for both of these clubs and their sets of supporters, this is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Well, they get the last pick as broadcast
yeah, of course they do,
at 3:00. So the guys that have been paid for the packages, they get all the first dibs. So and get to move the times around. So yeah, this was very much last pick, and you can see why.
Well, I think it'll be a really intriguing game. Like
I do, yeah,
more intriguing than Crystal Palace Wolves.
Yeah.
You've got two teams with something to play for sure.
And also with this, West Brom have been dire at home. They're conceding goals for fun, but if they lose this game, I think it could be curtains for them if they're to have any chance of staying up. They've got to win this game, West Brom.
Yeah.
It's a shame for Fulham that a big game against Brighton midweek, and they just lacked a little bit of creativity. I saw that Kearney was out injured, so yeah, this is a big couple of games for him to be missing. You wonder where the goals are going to come from for Fulham, but equally for West Brom. I don't know. Yeah, like you say though, it's nicely poised.
It's weird, isn't it? Because with Fulham, start of the season, so many teams have Mitrovic. He's obviously fallen out. He's fallen out with Parker about something because he's just not been,
and he's been dreadful.
Cold. But you kind of think if he was to go on a streak, Mitrovic now, the way that Fulham are playing, if they had that focal point, as well as all the graft they're doing in midfield and defence, they could pull away. I hope Fulham can do something. It'd be good. I love Scott Parker.
I do.
Okay, next game then used to be a big one.
Yeah. Arsenal, Man U. Unlikely to kick off between Keown and Van Nistelrooy this time around. What do we reckon there? Any assets? I mean, I mentioned Lacazette there, most informed, fit striker in the league right now.
I think this depends on which Manchester United turn up. If it's the one that we've seen in recent weeks, who've gone top of the league, been playing some free-flowing football, then I can see goal. I don't think they'll go there and win. I think we could be seeing a high-scoring draw here. But if they play anything like they did the other night against Sheffield United, then Arsenal should win this one comfortably.
I think they took Sheffield United like it was just going to be an absolute walk in the park, and that
true.
And I think Sheffield United would have been hoping that they would do that, and would have been real fired up for it. Wouldn't want to get any Arsenal assets in for this game. Do you remember Tierney like 3 weeks ago? Years ago, he was the in thing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying now. I'm at the stage of the season where overall rank has gone south. it keeps going down. So hopefully, eventually, I can end the season with some green arrows because red arrows will become impossible. And so I'm now looking at players. I'm picking players, so I've got a good spread of games I can watch and have an interest in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want an Arsenal player in this. I've already got a United player in it, so I might, bring in Son or something. So I've got something to look forward to on Sunday night. Do you do that?
No. Yeah, I do. Yeah, no, I do. I do. I like to have games that I can watch and enjoy. And then the reality of it is I've got I don't know, weeding to do, or the kids need a bath. But
I was going to say, I think it's quite nice to see, just to say, a spread of games, not all on one platform. They're all on BT this week, which for someone like me who doesn't have BT was quite frustrating. But anyway, so
I just want to say that I've seen a lot of people bring in likes of Wan-Bissaka in, Shaw, Maguire, and Man United were so poor off the ball against Sheffield United. Like that second goal they conceded was abysmal. I'd have been throwing some teacups around in the changing rooms if I was Ole. Like it was, they were so poor, wasn't it? Yeah, and just lethargic. So it'd be interesting to see.
You'd expect a reaction there, and I think United will know how big this game is. So I would expect that.
Good point there from Craig Richards about Lacazette's stats playing against some poor teams. That's a good shout.
They've had a good run for sure. Let's move to what is surely the most mediocre game of the week. Southampton, Aston Villa.
Well, it's not Watkins or Grealish.
I was going to say I'm going to disagree with you there, Mike. This could be a good game. I think. I think so. I think we're guaranteed goals. If you look at Villa at the moment, I mean, how they lost that game to Burnley the other night, I think they're still trying to wear that out, aren't they? The first half, they absolutely battered them. Grealish could have had a hat-trick, and somehow typical Burnley, typical Sean Dyche team, they hung in there and they turned it around. But, I think there'll be goals in this game. Villa have still got some quality attacking players. Southampton, they lost the other night to Arsenal, but they're still up there. They're still having a very solid season for them. Danny Ings back in the team. I can't see this one being 0-0.
I'll tell you who I quite like at Aston Villa. Matty Targett.
I was just going to say, he's looked really good, isn't he? Very quietly going about his business, Matty Targett.
Like him.
Really good. What would you do if you've got loads of money? Would you take a -4 to upgrade your goalkeeper?
No.
Okay, great, thanks. Because I've had McCarthy all season. And recently, Saints, do you remember they were top? I think they're now 11th, maybe.
Right.
So I think I'm tempted to get McCarthy out and maybe bring in someone like Edison, although maybe Edison, just for more reliable clean sheets. I've got the money, so why not?
Have you got too many Man City assets though? That was how I.
No, I've got Foden, who, as we've discussed, I don't want, and Cancelo. So.
Okay.
So anyway, so I think that game would be good. It's disappointing that I'll have an attacker against a goalkeeper, though. A bit like your situation, Mike.
Chelsea against Burnley is it has the potential to be a real kind of dogmatic, 0-0, frankly.
Yeah.
The way Tuchel set up his team was disappointing. I'd be looking at attacking assets for Chelsea and wondering actually if it's worthwhile.
He went for the old guy, didn't he, Tuchel, with his starting team?
He did.
He dropped Mount, which, I mean, if he'd actually seen a Chelsea game recently, he would not have done that.
He's been their best player this season, without a doubt.
Oh God, yeah, by far. Another English.
I think that as well, but Chelsea fans have been on his back loads.
I don't know why. What, Mount?
Yeah.
I don't know why. The boy's class, isn't he?
They thought he was Lampard's sort of teacher's pet, didn't they? So maybe that's got something to do with it. But you don't want to get a Burnley defender in for this, Mike, or?
No, I don't want to get a Burnley defender in. No. Like I say, I've bought Reece James in, and I'm really hoping that he can't play Aspilicueta twice in a week because of his age. So, because I've talked up Reece James many times before on this show, and I like him a lot. Interesting that he didn't start Werner midweek. I thought that, given the German connection, that this was maybe part of the plan that he'd come in and fire up Werner and Havertz, but. I mean, we're one game in. It's difficult to make a judgment call after one game. But
I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's German, so he's going to get loads out of Havertz and Werner." But I mean, by that theory, Lampard should have got more out of the British boys he had. A man has just come out of an industrial building just up there. He's come out to seemingly his car and repeatedly thumped the windscreen until the alarm went off, and now he's gone in. And it's still going off. I don't know what he's.
He's thumped an alarm.
He's been punching his windscreen.
Oh, interesting.
Is it his windscreen? Are you witnessing a robbery?
I don't know what he's doing. He's gone in now.
In pool, surely not.
Weird. Sorry.
Just quickly on this game, this is a game that needs an early goal, isn't it? Because we know that Burnley will sit in, they'll try and frustrate Chelsea. Nick Pope, and we'll hit them with the long ball. So, but if Chelsea score early here, it makes it a different game. But anyway,
they do. Right, we better rattle on then, boys, because my lunch break finished.
Same here.
So Leicester at home to Leeds then.
Pick a player.
Leeds conceding shots. I would go for Harvey Barnes. Obvious, I'm afraid.
Well, I've got Maddison. I'm gonna back him up, but I like the look of Pereira's coming back. So I like the look of Pereira as well.
Castagna?
I'll go James Justin, who is one of the players who's played every minute this season. He's getting forward as well. So, but from a defensive point of view, that could be a difficult one because Leeds have been scoring goals. So who knows? But otherwise, Barnes or Maddison would be your two, wouldn't it? Especially with Vardy out.
Yeah.
West Ham, Liverpool. Pick a player. Salah.
Souček.
Antonio. No, Antonio.
Souček. You can't ever bench him, boys. You can't ever bench him. The amount of people who cry about benching Souček on Twitter.
Ben Rama.
Ben Rama?
Yeah.
Well, that is left field.
There you go. Well, quite literally, yeah.
But he has been playing well.
Yeah. He just made
signed today on a permanent basis.
I was going to say, he just made that permanent, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Differential.
Finally, then, Brighton against Spurs. You never know what you're going to get with Brighton, frankly.
Well, dross and boredom.
So you do know.
Yeah, okay. But in terms of a result, it wouldn't surprise me if Spurs went there and lost that to a slopey 1-0.
Yeah.
Son's not the same player without Kane.
Statistically, he scores a similar amount of goals as he does with Kane. But he doesn't get as many chances.
No. Mike,
he won't assist as many.
Mike, are you still going for a Spurs title win here?
Beginning to wane on that, lads. Yeah.
I thought you might.
Yeah, beginning to wane on that. It's fallen away, hasn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
So, which player then on that? Which player from that game do we reckon?
Lewis Dunk.
Oh, okay. I think Lewis Dunk. I'll give Lewis Dunk zero chance there. He'll concede a goal and he'll get booked. Absolutely loves a booking, does Lewis Dunk. I'm gonna go for Reguilon if he plays.
I'll go for Son still.
Injured, good choice, mate.
Injured, Ben Davies. Okay, quickly, lads. We've got like 1 minute. Give us your punts. A player of under 2% ownership who's going to score you some points this week. Ant, who have you gone for?
Pereira of West Brom. Only 1% ownership at home to Fulham.
Nice. Yeah, Phil?
Owned Pereira for half the season. It wasn't that fun. I'm torn between Lookman and Traore from Villa. Who have Villa got?
Away to Saints.
I'll go Lookman because Ant had him. And,
all right. I'm going to do one that none of us have picked so far this season. I'm going to go for Perez of Leicester.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. What's his ownership?
Low. Very low.
Under
2%. He started last week in place of Vardy. And interestingly, in the press conference, Rodgers, when he was talking about options to come in and replace Vardy, he talked about Perez at length and then said, "Oh, and of course, I've got Iheanacho as well." So I think he's going to get some game time. So
well done,
Perez. Boys, right. It's been a pleasure.
Always, and you, mate.
Get back to work now. Thanks to Craig Richards for watching along live. Lovely to have you with us. And thanks to those that have watched it retrospectively. That is my daughter. And she is writing, he says, "I'm going to Grandma and Granddad's. Mummy will pick me up later. I will stay 2 meters. She will stay 2 meters.
Love that.
I got to go and rescue some pallets that have previously been stolen from a Polish company next door.
And then once you've done your criminal activity, you need to find the police about the guy breaking into a car.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I may well give them back. That's what I'm going to do. I'm a good person. Saying that, I don't think they want their pallets.
Okay.
They abandoned them all over the car park.
Okay.
Paul.
Mike,
Anyway,
end in a pun, quick.
Jordan Shakirio.
Oh, nice. Bye, everyone.
Bye now. Take care.
bye.